So when you're growing up, you don't really, realize that you're different from everybody else until someone points it out to you. When I was a kid, I grew up in a white suburb outside of Chicago, and I didn't really understand the fact that I was Chinese and everyone else was white until other kids pointed it out to me. So this kind of manifested itself in kids coming up to me at recess and giving me the old like chink-eyed stare or the pejorative like ching-chong lingo. It was never that irritating. It was kind of dumb and annoying, but it was never like this deep like pain that I like carried around like the recess schoolyard. It probably has something to do with the fact that when I was a kid, Mulan was really popular, who was Chinese, but no one would really come up to me and be like, oh my God, you're Chinese? Like, you must be this really awesome feminist. Like, you must want to really save your family and your patriarchal society from an army of nomadic warriors. It was more like, you're Chinese? You smell like race. And, I mean, it was dumb and annoying, but it wasn't that bad until this one time, in 8th grade that I remember really well. I was going on the bus. I had always taken the bus home after school. I always sat in the back, obviously, where the cool kids sit. I had sat with my friends Derek and Tess for years. We would hang out, before we were dropped off at home. And I was getting on the bus like any other day, and I was walking down the aisle, and this guy who's a year younger than me, he is in 7th grade when I was in 8th grade. I recognized him as being reasonably popular. I think he was on the basketball team, but I don't remember. He gets up and he blocks my way to the back of the bus. And he says to me, you can't go to the back of the bus if you're not white. And the bus gets kind of quiet, and which is a very rare thing on a public school bus. And the kids who overheard him kind of swivel their heads, and they look at us and try to figure out, what I'm going to say next, and everyone's staring. And I was so shocked that I had no comeback. And, I had nothing. I couldn't even roll my eyes, and I was just very, very still. And besides the obvious prejudice of that statement, I was kind of like reeling from the historical inaccuracy of it all. It was kind of like, you don't want me to sit at the back of the bus? Like, isn't it the other way around? But I was, like, if you want to be a racist, I don't know. I didn't want to be racist, but I couldn't even say that. I was like confused, but mostly I was embarrassed. The bus was actually a safe space for me. I was way more outspoken and outgoing when I was on the bus than I ever was in class. I could always be myself. And the fact that this guy that I barely knew could come up to me and say, one sentence and shut me up and keep me from hanging out with my friends, it was very, very paralyzing. And we just kind of had a stare off until I got angry enough to say, excuse me? And there was this really long pause. And it was very tense, and then he kind of like shifted slightly, so I had to like muscle my way to get back to the end of the bus. And I was really angry, and I wanted to say something, but I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be considered a crybaby, and when I came back home, I told my parents, but they didn't know what to do either. And when I asked them about this incident today, they don't even remember it happening. They can't even recall it, and my siblings don't remember it either. And I think what's really weird to me is that it's the most vivid memory I have about being labeled as non-white and being like labeled as the Chinese girl, but it only exists inside my mind. No one remembers this but me, and the person who could possibly remember this as vividly as I do is the boy who said it. But there's no way that I'm ever going to be able to ask him how he feels about it, because 4 years ago when we were in the same high school, right before my senior year of high school, this boy who said those words to me and kept me from being at the back of the bus with my friends, he got in a really serious ATV accident, and he died the day before school started. And it was this huge tragedy. It was announced on the intercom on the first day of school my senior year, and all of a sudden, this boy that I had labeled as secret racist inside my head was all of a sudden being lauded. He was very popular, and he was being told to newspapers and all these other resources as being an amazing friend, a great listener, an awesome dude. And it was very frustrating for me, as horrible as it sounds, because I was seeing this guy being lionized for being great, and I had always secretly resented him. And now every year before school starts, I see people posting on his Facebook wall as if he's still alive. And I see him as if he's still in my life, and he's still going to the high school that I went to, and people will say things. And I saw his wall yesterday, and one of his family members had posted something along the lines of, "I really miss you. I love you. My heart will never be the same. I know I'll see you again one day. I love you very, very much." And it's moments like these where I think, maybe he wasn't the racist asshole that I remember him being. Maybe I'm the asshole for holding on to it for so long. And maybe he really was the awesome friend, the great listener, the amazing dude that everyone remembers him as. And then this year, when I saw his, people posting on his wall, for the first time since 8th grade, I want to believe those things are true.